I'm Lama Tantrapa, and I'm delighted to have you here today for our masterclass dedicated to resilience and how we can embody this amazing trait. That's right, it's not enough to just talk about resilience or think about it or meditate about it. It's crucial to develop the ability to embody resilience so that you literally walk the talk. Otherwise, talking the talk is never good enough. How do we embody resilience? Well, in order to achieve that, I developed a different approach that enables me to not just meditate on resilience, but actually to integrate it into every cell of my body. How did I develop such a method that enabled me to embody resilience? Well, I went through a lot of trials and tribulations, starting when I was young and stupid, growing up in the former Soviet Union, learning martial arts, serving in the Soviet military, going on numerous expeditions in the mountains and caves, and in general, putting myself in harm's way more than once. I also went through a series of car accidents, including one of them when I had 2 rollover car accidents in one night. Obviously, everybody got banged up in the car. I wasn't the one driving, but we survived to tell the story. And that's one of the implications of resilience that I learned early on. How to become capable of overcoming adversity, rolling with the punches, developing the ability to get back on my feet even when the going got tough and I got knocked out. I also developed the ability to heal myself because in addition to those car accidents, I also experienced numerous injuries, accidents, falling off the cliffs. I developed the ability to heal myself even from PTSD, both after my military service and also after being kidnapped in Ukraine 30 plus years ago. In addition to that, I also worked as a stuntman, which is exactly what you shouldn't be doing if you don't want to get hurt. But stunt work, as by definition, is the way of portraying doing something super dangerous and potentially hurtful without getting too hurt. Of course, there's going to be some injuries, there are going to be some bruises here and there, but if you're knowledgeable enough as a stunt person, you will be able to survive and thrive despite taking tumbles or going off cliffs. And to add insult to injury, I also owned a bodyguarding company before I became a peaceful Tibetan Lama. So I know a thing or two about resilience, and I would love to share with you the 4 pillars of resilience that allow you to embody this trait rather than just talk about it or think about it. In order to share with you these pillars, I am going to ask my partner to assist me with it. And she is going to push me around. And you are also welcome to ask somebody, a friend, a neighbor, a partner, a relative, to do you a favor and push you in a way similar to Aina does when she pushes me. And she will be pushing me with all her might. So that is something that you can learn how to do with practice. It's not going to be easy the first time around, but with practice, you will gain greater confidence and greater ability to relax under pressure. That's right, that's one of the pillars, being able to relax under pressure. Another one is rolling with the punches. These are not the same stereotypical pillars of resilience that you may read about that in psychology books, but these are the pillars that literally allow you to embody resilience. In addition to rolling with the punches and relaxing under pressure, there are two other major pillars. One of them is developing the ability to become resourceful, or tap into additional resources that perhaps you didn't know before. That means that you will be able to adapt to the changing circumstances in your life, adapt to the requirements of the moment in a way that is successful and enables you to thrive. And the last but not the least is the ability to switch from being reactive, which is how 99.9% of human beings are, to being responsive. And that will transform the quality of your life, my friend. Responsiveness, the ability to respond rather than react to oncoming forces, is something that is key to resilience. And that's something that I will be sharing with you in this masterclass as well. So, let's take a look at the first one. The ability to get back on your feet after getting knocked down or falling on your face, so to speak. There are certain baby steps that I will also have to share with you so that you take them in order to learn how to roll with the punches. But I just wanted to demonstrate to you that it's no rocket science. Just like this. You can get back on your feet after falling down. Once again. You don't have to get banged up. You don't have to be hurt. Literally rolling with punches. Now what did I do? I allowed myself to fall back. And I relaxed. And I used my body in a rounded ball shape so that I roll instead of falling. What's the difference? Well, when you're falling, there's a point in time when your body is not supported by anything. You are falling down pulled by the G-force, and you're going to hit the ground with a thud, which almost always leads to injury. What do we want to do instead? We want to roll instead of falling. This, my friend, is easy to learn. Just watch. Just like this. You're lying on your side in the fetal position, knees and elbows touching each other. And then open your arm and leg on one side as a clamshell and roll over to the other side. Doesn't get easier than this. The head, by the way, doesn't touch the ground at any point in time. And if you give a little bit more momentum, then you will end up on your knees and elbows like this. With this momentum, you actually end up facing downwards. You can also roll all the way this way or all the way that way. This is like a miniature barrel roll. I'm going to imagine hugging the barrel and straddling it with my legs, just like this. I'm going to turn my left hand upside down, and I'm going to turn my left foot upside down so that they don't support me on this side of my body anymore. I do it simultaneously. I will no longer have support. I will start moving in that direction pulled by gravity. And I will keep my body shaped as if I'm hugging or straddling the barrel. And this is what's going to happen. And I'm back in the same position, just a little bit further off to the side. Same thing, I'm going to roll my right hand and my right foot upside down. This is the barrel roll. One of the most basic and at the same time easy to execute. If I can do barrel roll by turning my hand and my foot at the same time, upside down so they're no longer supporting me. What if I'm in this position where my knee is down, so I'm kneeling on one knee, and I just simply stop supporting myself with the back foot. What happens? I no longer have support of this particular foot. So I start falling, but I don't fall with a thud, I actually roll like this. Or like this. What happens when I roll? I swing my legs to give myself a little bit of momentum, and so I end up in the same position that I started from. Or I can also roll forward. In order to roll forward, I want to use one of my arms. And I'm going to roll forward using the curvature of the arm, the shoulder, and my entire back, rolling from this shoulder towards the opposite hip. So I'm going to roll from the left shoulder towards the right hip, just like this. Of course, I want to exhale and use my legs to maintain enough momentum so I end up in the same position. Once again, I'm going to roll over the entire arm, keeping it curved. See how I'm curving it, also projecting the shoulder forward so it continues the curvature of the arm over the shoulder. My shoulder joint doesn't stick out, just like I don't want my elbow to stick out like this. I don't want my shoulder to stick out because I don't lead to impact. And I exhale. Just like that. And you can even gain enough momentum to get on your feet. So you started on your knee and you actually end up on your feet. That, my friend, is an embodiment of rolling with the punches. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is how to relax under pressure. And I'm going to ask my partner, Aine, to come over and push me. Can you say hi to our friends?
Hi.
Do me a favor and give me a push into my stomach using power rather than force. See what's happening?
Yeah, you're not moving.
I'm not being easily pushed over. Let's do it again. Does it feel like I'm tensing up when you push me?
No, relax.
I relax under pressure. Now if I tense up, this is what it's going to look like. I tense up, feel tension?
Yes.
Easy to push over, right?
Very easy.
Okay, do it again. I'm going to tense up really much. That still didn't help. What if I tense up and then relax? How did it feel?
Like you're quite stable.
I'm stable but not tense,
No.
which is really interesting. If you tense up, you become less stable. When you fall down, being tense almost always is going to lead to injury. In other words, relaxing under pressure is really helpful. This is what most people hope to experience as a result of learning Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation, or similar disciplines. First, let's do a simple exercise. Let's jump and land softly. This is what we call taking natural stance, just like this. And then your body kind of aligns naturally. When you are up flying through space in midair, for a moment you're suspended in weightlessness. And that means that you're not struggling against G-force instead of gravity. That means your spine can actually align itself. Most people suffer from one degree of misalignment or another, and as a result, they're using their muscles to compensate for lack of structural integrity when the spine is not in alignment. Well, muscles are never as strong as bones, and they get tired, they burn energy, and then they also develop chronic stiffness. The tension in the muscles lead to energy blockages, and anyone familiar with Oriental medicine knows that those are the root causes of many ill health conditions. Ill health is the result of energy blockages in the body. Well, if we realize that we are doing it ourselves, nobody does this energy blockages to us, then we can also stop doing it. And one of the easy ways to stop doing it is by jumping and landing softly, like a kitten, like this. Your legs will land exactly where they need to be. Your feet will not be parallel to each other, no matter what some Qigong or Tai Chi teachers may be telling the students. You will not land with your feet parallel to each other. Why? Because it's less stable. We also want to learn how to tap into some additional energy resources. For example, what if instead of just pushing me, you do something else? Let's say you twist my arm. Yes. So yes, she can twist my arm, and that's going to be like being arrested by a cop. However, what if I do something different from what most people do? Well, instead of tensing up and getting hurt and basically causing myself more grief, I relax. See what happened? Do it again. So when you're twisting my arm and I'm tense, I'm actually going to be subject to more discomfort and pain. I don't want to be more uncomfortable. I want to relax and see what happens. Nice. Now, that's what happens when the person twists your arm, but that's not the only situation where you can get adaptive or flexible and learn how to basically weasel out of the situation. What if you do the hand pin on me? Yeah. If I am not paying attention to it, I will do that. Yeah, go ahead and do the hand pin until I'm down on the ground. Yeah. Okay, maybe I will roll, but it's still a rather disadvantageous situation for me. What if I do something completely different? When you're twisting my arm, hand, I turn.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I'm no longer on the ground, I'm making you run around. Or maybe this one was a fluke. Let's try the other one. Oh, she can actually twist my hand and get me on the ground if I'm not using the principle of adaptation. So, how do I adapt? I turn towards the hand. Look at this. I'm actually making her run around me without any effort. There is very little chance that you can actually twist my arm or pin me down with a hand pin if you deal with a person who's adapting to the situation. Basically, adaptation and finding additional resources comes from being open-minded, and mental agility leads to physical flexibility, physical agility. If you are mentally flexible and you're not stuck in a perspective, you will be able to change your perspective. That's what was happening. My arm was twisted this way or that way, and instead of turning away from it, which is what most people would do, I actually turn towards it. Now this is happening on my center line now. Center line of the body is like the power line of the body. Energetically, it actually provides me much more control, much more power over whatever is happening on my center line. Whatever is happening off center line receives less of my attention, and where attention goes, energy flows. Thereby, I am unable to give as much attention and as much energy to things that are happening off my center line. And further away from the center line things are happening on the periphery of my awareness, the less I would be able to have any power over those experiences. I don't want to be disempowered. I want to empower the situation or myself in the situation or part of the body that is being compromised or twisted. So if my arm is being compromised, I don't want it to be disempowered. I want to bring energy to this part of my body. So instead of turning away, I actually want to turn towards this hand or this arm or whatever part of the body is being affected or challenged. So similarly, if the hand pin is being applied to me, I don't want to turn away from it. I actually want to turn towards it. And that, as you saw, led to my partner running around me. I wasn't doing anything to her. I was simply moving in the direction towards my hand. And that created a certain energy flow. And she was going with the flow because, well, going against the flow is more challenging and detrimental. So, being smart, she went with the flow. If somebody is not going with the flow, I will help them down instead of them taking me down. So basically, these are just some simple and physical applications of the principles that I teach in practice. What is the main pillar? It's the ability to be responsive instead of reactive. What's the difference between being responsive versus being reactive? Well, we were just doing some testing and I was relaxing under pressure. That's a pretty responsive example. However, there is more to it. How do you get centered? Well, as I was mentioning, that wherever attention goes, energy flows. If you want to develop awareness of your center and empower the center of your being, let's find that center. How do you find the center? One of the easy ways to do it is by spinning or just simply turning. The axis of rotation of your body is your center. Ideally, it would coincide with your spine, so that also means that you're not turning around your stomach, you're turning around your backbone. You're not turning like this. This would mean you're sinking on the back foot. You know, the English expression, you don't want to be caught in the back foot. That's not the powerful way to be. You don't want to be caught in your back foot. So where do you want to be instead? You want to rotate around your backbone. To the right or to the left, letting the arms flap around freely. Just like two strings hanging down from the shoulders with little weights. And as you turn, make sure that you also allow your feet to move, pivoting on your heels, 1 foot at a time. Explore what it's like to turn around your spine and bring 100% of your attention to that axis of rotation, which is the center of your body. And once you really align your spine with the axis of rotation, it means the spine becomes upright, vertical. It's in alignment with the vertical axis of rotation. And what happens when the bones are aligned? They start providing you maximum support so the muscles can relax. And when the muscles relax, they relax not just by themselves, they actually start receiving fewer signals of contraction from the central nervous system to relax. The entire central nervous system becomes less agitated, becomes more centered. So physical centeredness and mental and emotional centeredness go hand in hand. The key, of course, is energetic centeredness because, as I mentioned, we're connecting with that axis of rotation, which is the energy channel. In Tai Chi and Qigong, it's often referred to as Tai Chi pole or central channel. So you are connecting with that energetic resource within yourself. And now you are more or less likely to experience a change in your breathing pattern. You may have a sigh of relief or even start yawning, simply because your central nervous system is becoming less agitated, more relaxed, and it's sends fewer and fewer signals of contraction to the muscles throughout the body, including the diaphragm, a breathing muscle, which is exactly why that will elicit a change in your breathing pattern, or you start yawning or at least sighing. That's the sign that you achieved what we set out to achieve. Let's not rest on the laurels, let's test it. I ask Aina to give me a push, literally shove me, just like she was pushing me before. She was pushing into my abdomen, and when I relaxed, she couldn't push me over because I was too soft to get a handle on my body. It's like trying to push a bag of water that is just sloshing around when you apply pressure on it. So, do me a favor and push me with one of your hands into my stomach or anywhere you want. Yeah. Okay, let's do it again. So what's happening? I'm turning. I feel that there is more energy applied to the right side of my body than the left side. So I go with the flow. I turn my entire structure in the direction where more energy is flowing, to the right. And there is no way to push me over when I am swiveling like this. Try the other hand. Maybe this one was a fluke. Okay. Very nice. Can you push harder?
Yeah.
Interesting. Can you push twice as hard?
Well.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, notice how when you were pushing me, I exhaled.
Yeah.
I relaxed. Instead of tensing up, I relaxed. But then I also swivel around my center. No matter where the energy is going, I'm just going to go with the flow. Statistically speaking, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to distribute absolutely equal amount of energy, 50-50, on the right and left sides of my center line. You know, where my buttons are. But if you manage to distribute 50-50 pressure between my right and my left side,
Yeah.
I'm still not going to stand there like a dummy.
So that's fine.
Okay. I'm going to pivot. Where I want. I will exercise my freedom of choice. I'm not going to stand there and resist. I am going to pivot somewhere. In other words, I'm going to be responsive instead of reactive. Well, what would reactive look like? Would you do me a favor and push me again?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to demonstrate what reactive looks like. Okay. And what happens if you suddenly take your hand away? Reactive looks like this. I literally throw myself off balance. Try it again. One more time. So I'm trying to resist. I'm trying to react. Reaction literally means action against an oncoming force. But that's not helping me. I'm still getting pushed over or thrown off balance. Now, once again, would you do me a favor and push me no matter how much you try? Very nice. One more time. Just give me a really good shot.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what happens? I just don't stand there like a dummy and taking it like a man. I'm actually turning. And the way I turn is by feeling the energy. I'm responding to the situation instead of reacting to it. I'm feeling where the flow is going, and I'm going with the flow. Now, when you go with the flow, that's when you can be in the flow. This is actually the key to experiencing being in the flow on demand. You don't have to wait for somebody to push you. Life throws challenges at you all the time. You need to decide, make some decisions at a minute level all the time, on a minute-to-minute, moment-by-moment basis. So instead of reacting to things, or tensing up, or being resistant. I invite you to learn how to be responsive, centered, and relaxed under pressure. You're guaranteed to have greater resilience. You're guaranteed to not be easily pushed over. And if you do lose balance for whatever reason, it happens to the best of us, at least you know how to roll the punches. So in other words, you will be able to get back on your feet and literally embody resilience. I would love to invite you to dive deeper into our field of studies. Please go to academyofqidao.com. Academy of Qidao is the school that I founded 25 years ago. And for the last quarter century, I've trained dozens of thousands of people from all over the world who learn how to become more responsive, more relaxed under pressure, and more resilient. My art of Qidao is often nicknamed the art of being in the flow. As a matter of fact, that's the subtitle of my first book. So the art of being in the flow literally teaches you how to be in the flow at will. And when you are in the flow on demand, you experience the most profound sense of wellness and well-being. You're not stressed, you're not suffering, you are enjoying the ride. I hope that you will be able to enjoy this ride with me. I invite you to check out my website, academyofqidao.com, and join us for our programs. The basic Qidao Practitioner Certification Program would be the most obvious choice, so I encourage you to take that program. We're also constantly launching other programs, and I will be happy to see you in one of them. Until then, namaste.